Okay, everybody, we are ready to button this thing up today. It is the next day. I have done some cleaning and some prepping ahead of time. Last night I finished installing thermostat housing, the EGR tube, and this brace bracket for the alternator. I believe that has this all buttoned up back here. We should be ready to start reinstalling everything and getting everything buttoned up. So I went ahead and dug out my sheet for my torque, which is 89 inch-pounds on this one. So we'll do it in 2 stages. I think I set this for 65 and then we'll do 89. We'll do a 2-step on it just like the last one. Top of the manifold is clean. Well, was clean, almost ready. Get the cleaner and do a final wipe down on the top, because apparently I did miss that. And then after that we should be ready to rock and roll. It's actually considerably dirtier than I thought it was. I thought I wiped it down or hosed it down last night, but apparently I did not. So, never hurts to double check, triple check, quadruple check your work. One thing bad about blue tails and these types of manifolds, they are rather sharp and they like to fray very easily on these sharp edges. That was probably about the only drawback to having blue paper towels. In this particular instance, it would probably be better to use a microfiber towel in order to get this all cleaned up without worrying about too many blue paper towel fragments. But it's what I got. It's what we're going to use. We'll just try to make quick work of it without making too much of a mess. And I think that should do it. Make sure that's looking good. Okay. Okay, that should now be ready to go. We've got our torque wrench ready. We've got our pattern. I've went ahead and did not bore you with the cleaning of the intake manifold. It's not perfect, but it is a lot cleaner than it was. I'm going to try to run some air intake cleaner through this at some point to help clean up maybe some of that varnish there. It might help clean up some of that some more. We got our little tube back in here like it should be. Definitely don't forget to put that back in. We've got this thing snapped down. Everything looks lined up. Everything looks to be in good order. So now we will go ahead, bring this over here, get this thing set down, hopefully. And it does got a few little alignment pins, mostly on the other side here. These two there, and that's it. I mean, there's really not much to go wrong there. We don't have any sealer or silicone to deal with on this particular part of it, so we should be pretty much good to go. Besides remembering where all of our bolts went, which I believe this one was back there, because that bracket I think bolts to that one back there. The only other studded one I think was right there. And if for some reason I get that wrong, I will gladly remove it and move the other one around. So let's go ahead and put our bolts back in here. Shorts where the shorts go, longs where the longs go. And also try not to drop them down any holes where you're not going to be able to get them back from. That would be no good. And this is that hidden one right there. And then we should have one more. Hey, there it is. Long one right up front here. Okay, so let's pull that off there for the moment. Make sure all of these thread down, and then we'll jump to a back one here to try to kind of keep it even. That one does not want to thread in there very well for some reason. That should be lined up. Let me just shoot a smidge of air down there just to make sure I didn't miss something. And if you have not invested in one of these are very handy. These are a thread chaser. And is that one? No, not that one. And the sole purpose of this is just to get gunk and junk off of the threads. It's not meant to cut new threads. And there is a little bit of junk on that one. I didn't think it looked that bad, but see it sit there and pulled up quite a bit off of there. So very handy tool to have. I spent many years not having one of those. Probably did like what everybody else does and uses a regular tap, but come to find out that is not what you're supposed to use, because the tap is cutting new threads and will actually cut threads through, or kind of like cut your threads shorter on your bolt and actually make them more prone to stripping. Get that one. Okay, got that one. Of course, all of these are 8 except for that stud there and that stud back there, which is the only one we got to switch back and forth when we're sitting here doing our pattern for torquing this thing down. But you got to do what you got to do, even if it's a pain in the rump. Okay. Hand tight, hand tight, hand tight, hand tight, and we'll switch over to our 10. Hand tight. and hand tight. Okie dokie. Now, go ahead and stick our 8 back on there. Put our 10 down there. Switch over to our ratchet. And then, hopefully, start running through our torque pattern, which looks like we're going to start on this one. Well, give me just a moment here. Okay, sorry about that. Had to do a little torque wrench medic repair here. That screw came a little loose there, so I snugged it up and squirted a little bit of lubricant in there because my ratcheting teeth weren't quite grabbing like they were supposed to. Apparently the grease in there's gotten a little dried out. So, okay, back to number 1. Okay, first one. Number 2, I believe, straight across. Okay, then we jump across here to number 3. Of course, that has pulled these way down now. And then this one is number 4. And we jump back here to number 5. And this one obviously should be number 6. Okay. Then we got to jump to the larger socket to do 7. And then back to the smaller one for number 8. And then we should be nine. And switch out again for position 10. Okay, now run through these and check them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, switch out for 7, and switch back out for 8, and then back over here for 9, and last one 10. Okay, there is our first sequence. Now we'll go ahead and take it up to 89. So unlock. There's 85. Right. 85, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. There we go. Lock that in. And we'll run through the final torque sequence. This was just slightly easier coming over here. So one thing you'll have to kind of play around with is what's comfortable and where to go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Switch out. 4, 7. Back out. 4, 8. And back down here again. 4, 9. And switch out again. 4, 10. Alright, we'll run through it again. And hopefully this will be the last round. Now, after this runs a little bit, I might go check it after it warms up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hit a couple of them that move a little bit, but most of them are pretty much right where they need to be. And 10. All right. Now we'll set back up here in a minute, and I'll do a little thinking here. I think I'm ready for fuel injectors, I believe. I'm going to throw the throttle body back on last. I'm going to try to clean up on it just a little bit more. I will be back here shortly. Alright. We have switched out our bottom O-rings. I didn't disturb or twist any of those, so I'm not going to worry about the uppers, lowers. Okay. You're supposed to if you take them out, so we'll do it. We just come in here. Oh, and a little bit of dielectric grease. Just a real thin coat around each of those O-rings to help them slide, hopefully, into their places. So, let's get guys there. These over here. Okay, now get these ones back here where they belong. Okay, that one's in. Those feel like they are down and seated. Relatively painless. That is the way we all like things to go. We have these 4 nuts. And then of course you got your little witness marks on there to kind of set or tweak the rail kind of back in where it was. And that one. Okay. And Those are torqued to 89 inch-pounds, just like the upper intake. And then you knock your socket off like I just did. We'll do that one. Let's do them in a crisscross. It really doesn't matter. These are not going to change how the rails are torquilized. And really, probably doesn't matter. I can't imagine you're going to mess up anything on the intake manifold just running these down with your hand, but since I still have the wrench out, we'll just go ahead and utilize it. All right. Oh, trip over my stuff that I got laying out here. Okie dokie. Now, since this was yesterday and I've slept since then, I'm thinking it's either the bracket or the harness. I think we're ready to start putting the harness back in here. Yeah, I think that's what we're ready for. Try to start kind of setting some of this stuff back where it was. And start kind of plugging everything back in. Okay, so let's go with not tripping and falling. Let's undo our little bungee cord. Found a better way to snag that. That really didn't do anything. Okay, now pull him off. Back over. And off the back of that. That's going to clip back into that one. And we've got, that's our first fuel injector. Right? Oh, one hiding. Okay, looks like those need to drape back over. So we'll snap that one on. Snap that one on. And snap that one on. That is pigtail for the alternator. I think this goes underneath. Yeah, I really think that should have been on the other side. Let's see if I can get that one back off. Put him back over there. Oh, hey, look. There's clips for it right there. Apparently when I changed those years ago, I never snapped them back into the clips like they were supposed to. How funny. The things you forget. So, yeah, those totally need to be over there. I'm pretty sure this was probably, yeah, it's probably over the top of that one. Yeah, that looks right. So, okay, that's definitely there. That was probably over the top. Nope, underneath. More of my disintegrated tape. which, like I said, I won't address that in this video. It's kind of self-explanatory. You know how to fix up that stuff. I know how to fix up that stuff. Let's go ahead and slide that guy back on. Let's hook him and clip him. So that's good to go. Safety. Always remember your safety, kids. Yeah, those fuel rails would actually make that upper plenum kind of a bear to go back and re-torque. That kind of stinks. Looks like this one's going to go to this one. We still got one to go to the back of the stud. So yeah, we'll leave that off so I make sure I don't forget to tighten that nut. Okay. And I know these have got to clip back in the harnesses. Let's just go ahead and do that, and for sake of ease, I'm flipping that one upside down and clipping it that way. That is not going to change how far up or down that goes. That must be that injector. Oh, let's not get you caught in here, then I'll be wondering where you're at. You are the temperature. Sorry, jumping away from there to make sure I don't forget to plug temperature back in. And I've kind of always just left it kind of stuck in between there so that's not laying over here and wicking oil off of valve covers if they leak. So we got that one. We've got that one. And we've got that one. Wires. Let's go ahead and plug those back in. There was our 1. That's our 5. That must be our 3. There we go. I think those were just laying there like that. Probably on top of this connector though, so let's get him back together. And a little safety clip thing. And then can we get him back in his funky little clip? I hope so. Okay. Let's look at this from a different angle. Alright. Yeah, I think those were just on top like that. Those are clipped in, that's clipped in, alternator's clipped in, just need to finish the wire. That goes on the throttle body, which we haven't reinstalled yet. I think, let's go ahead and get our bracket back on here. And then that's going to be the clip that goes on top of that one. Okay, we've got, what do we got here? It's going to be that stud there, and then there's going to be a bolt back there on that bracket. Let's see. You stay up there. Yeah, let's go. Let's go up a little higher. We're going to start to need. Okay, that's probably the nut that goes there. And that is the nut that goes back there, which would have been easier to get without the harness in the way. Oh well, hindsight's always 20/20, right? Okay, got it started. Here's an extension. Ratchet somewhere. There's a 10, I think. Right. I think we can finish clipping that one to hold our grody harness back in place. Those look fine. Oh yeah, we were not supposed to forget about that. Yeah, hopefully I can still wiggle in there and get that, but I gotta change the O-ring on that. So let me take a small break. Let me get the O-ring placed on the end of that thing, and then I'll get that snapped into place, because it's going to be a little hard to get you in there with that camera, because probably should have put that on before the rail, but I did forget about it. So it happens, you know. Just got to roll with it, so be right back.